Hi, I'm Jesse Clark with Stream Landscape Architecture and Planning. And while we certainly miss the in-person presentations and the camaraderie at CASFM, we're very grateful to be here with you all virtually. I'm joined by another principal from our office, Chris Loftus, as we discuss some new design collaboration challenges that we've been encountering through the isolation that comes with the COVID pandemic, in ways that we've begun to overcome them as a small and specialized design firm in the stormwater industry. Chris?
We're going to start by introducing some of the challenges and opportunities we've encountered as we've been adapting to working during the pandemic. These are framed in the context of working within a small design firm, where the quality of work stems from collaboration both within the office and with clients and other consultants. From there, we will provide an overview of some key tools that we've been using to adapt and maintain a collaborative culture. Then we'll explore a few specific examples of how we've used those tools, some illustrated through video clips of collaborative meetings. While this presentation has been pre-recorded, we'll have an opportunity for a live question and answer session following the recorded portion, during which we hope to hear some of the ways your practice has evolved during the pandemic and answer any questions you may have. So like many of you, we were forced to quickly adapt to changes associated with working remotely. One of the obvious challenges associated with shifting to a virtual work environment is not being in the same room with our colleagues and clients. We can't read expressions, gestures, group dynamics, or body language as well over the screen. We've also lost much of the social aspect of before and after meeting chit-chat and what we would call parking lot meetings after a formal meeting where we can informally gather and talk about our lives and project work. We have far fewer opportunities to gather around a table for a design workshop or charrette with other consultants, and it's not feasible to hold large in-person stakeholder meetings or public open houses anymore. It can be challenging to fully engage team members at times, and the plethora of distractions that surround some home office settings can prevent the ability to completely focus on web meetings. We have to battle the urges to multitask, to check email, and to daydream about exciting weekend adventures, as some on this screenshot of a staff meeting may have been doing. As a small landscape architecture studio, we depend on the ability to visually communicate our ideas. We hover over sketches and plans together, draw, and guide staff to explore different possibilities. These over-the-shoulder reviews result in better design solutions. Working in a virtual environment forces us to look at different ways to collaborate and communicate. And when we want to describe a complex concept in the office, we used to be able to walk down the hall or lean across the desk and use words, gestures, images, and sketches to convey those ideas. Channeling the same communication through web correspondence can sometimes risk misinterpretation and loss of nuance. Along with all these challenges though, among other challenges, we found some real opportunities to actually improve our practice through virtual tools. For example, we've increased our staff meeting frequency to maintain regular communication, foster student culture, studio culture, and make sure no one is getting too disengaged or isolated. We communicate often via video call or chat to share ideas and solve design problems. And as you'll see in some of the project examples we share today, we've been learning new tools to facilitate effective workflow and collaboration. We've experimented with a variety of new ways to engage stakeholders in the public, collaboratively develop design concepts, and remotely monitor construction progress. We've also noticed that while working from home can sometimes be distracting, there's potential to actually increase productivity by providing flexible work hours and eliminating or reducing commute time. And the reduction of emissions associated with less cars on the road benefits us all. There's potential for many of these adapted work practices to carry through beyond the pandemic with positive results. Now, Jess will walk you through some of the tools we've been using to maintain effective collaboration.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So many of the national firms and the larger businesses who have offices in other places, they've been dealing with video conferencing platforms for quite some time. But as a small niche business who relies on in-person collaboration to result in that high quality work that's expected of us, it's a major paradigm shift for our team to use video conferencing as our primary communication platform. Particularly for working with our internal team members, because the need for drawing, and I mean hand drawing, is imperative to our design work and our process. So today we're going to touch on how our firm has begun to use tablets, digital tablets like an iPad, to not only replace hand drawing on paper, but to collaborate in a way unlike any that we were able to prior to the pandemic. Additionally, technology is moving really fast to help stakeholder outreach methods that are focused on providing a no contact approach to engage people and get feedback and communicate ideas. So as I'm sure you're all very aware of, there are dozens of applications out there available to help facilitate virtual meetings, video interfaces, and even manage information. This figure from the National Park Service illustrates only a few of the ones that they have evaluated. And what we're finding is, as you probably are, there's no one good solution. Different applications have different strengths, different weaknesses, and frankly, the best video meeting platforms don't really have a good collaborative drawing interface. It's getting there, and we can talk about that a little bit, but it's not yet there. And as was mentioned earlier, stakeholder and public engagement is really changing dramatically. We've got a lot of new tools, and this is a really positive thing. We recently hosted a public meeting where we were actually able to host a synchronized but separate Spanish-speaking feed with a live interpreter and translated materials in parallel, synchronized with our English-speaking presentation. And then on the right-hand side, there are companies that are specializing in developing a virtual venue. This example on the right is from Jacobs, but this allows a custom interface to engage people in ways that even a physical meeting couldn't before. And we're even seeing a lot more people who couldn't ever attend a physical meeting able to attend. So that's very positive as well. And let's face it, drones they're kind of old news with regards to capturing good site imagery, but we're finding new ways to use actual drone footage as opposed to Google Earth footage, like integrating drone imagery with live sketches and more detailed drawings. It's a great tool for bringing our clients along, even when we can't all be together on site. So most of us are accustomed to using aerial imagery like this, commonly grabbed from Google Earth, to do things like evaluate the site, see conditions, and even to develop concepts, as we did here with this project on Cherry Creek. We've been working on this project for quite some time with Muller Engineering. And we can even use this type of aerial imagery to generate lower eye-level imagery to illustrate the details and the feel that we intend in the design. But what we're not really accustomed to is using real drone footage as opposed to the Google Earth type. We're using real drone footage more frequently in times when we can't all meet or go to the site together. So by using the exact same flight path, the aerial imagery can help from day one, providing a bird's eye view of the progress of the site all the way through construction. On the left, you see the project just before construction began in July of 2019. The synchronized side-by-side comparison is really helpful in identifying hidden or influential site conditions and other context clues, as well as communicating real-time progress to the stakeholders who want to maintain a contact-free work or those who just simply can't make their way out to the site. And we're going to come back to this video in a moment. So even construction administration is changing. For instance, in the last couple of weeks, I've had several FaceTime calls with construction managers to do things like see site issues. We used it once to select boulders at a quarry, and it just helps solve problems in real time. But the difference is it's in a fraction of the time. So that's a real benefit now. And construction managers can update an entire stakeholder group, like this one for Cherry Creek, where we're going to use the same footage, but it was during a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting. And in a matter of minutes, with detailed imagery and a narrated tour, they can communicate what's going on in the construction site, and people can get excited about what they've made their investment in. It's really simple, but it's very effective.
And that's from 20 down to 17. They're also working the irrigation on both sides. And then as we get down towards 17, you can see we're starting to get the trail prepped, the approaches. We've got the head wall in and the box-based manhole at outfall 9. And then as we continue down, you can see we've got a significant amount of trail in at this point.
So another place that we've really seen some challenges, as Chris mentioned before, is in over-shoulder reviews, and in particular in redlining large document sets. For some of us are actually used to redlining by hand. And while you might think that's a little bit crazy, we found that our ability to communicate on plan form changes and details, things like that, it's a lot better with actual hand-drawn red lines. You can also see multiple sheets at one time, which is a very difficult task on a screen. The challenge when everybody's working from home is to redline a large set by hand. This set was 160 sheets or something like that. You have to scan them each set every time, and it's difficult to account for changes once people are addressing those red lines. With redlining in tools like Acrobat and Bluebeam, which is probably what most of us are doing these days, it works, and in smaller instances, it's functional, it's very functional. But what we found is that the challenge of drawing with a mouse leaves a lot to be desired. And it's also very difficult to see multiple sheets at one time, something that's important if you have a complex set. So we've recently been using a hybrid method of redlining sheets on the iPad using the digital pencil. So you get that benefit of the hand element and those nice clean drawings. And it's recorded, it's a digital file, so it's a lot easier to distribute and account for changes when people are able to address those changes. While we have the ability to view multiple sheets at one time, again, I'll have the sheets out on my desk while I'm actually redlining the file on the iPad.
So along with new ways to gather information, develop construction documents, and complete QA, QC reviews, we focused on exploring new ways to collaborate during the conceptual design phase. As designers, one of our most fundamental tools is hand sketching. There is no quicker method of channeling creative thought from brain to paper than through hand drawing. So one of the most important adaptations for us has been unlocking the potential of digital sketching tools. We've been using tablets and digital pencils to continue our hand sketching communications, providing staff with live feedback and exchange of visual ideas. Now we'll share some examples of collaboration by showing a few video clips.
So here's a couple of examples of how we've been working internally and with our design teams to use very quick hand-drawn sketches to communicate ideas. In this case, I'm going through with one of our designers ways to integrate green infrastructure planting inside or outside the existing flow line. And this type of very quick exercise helps that designer in terms of finishing or finalizing a diagram that can be presented to the client or the ownership team. Here, we're going to look at more of a planning scale exercise to align both, to look at realigning a channel and trail alignments along a major river corridor. And when we'll actually play some of the sound from this, and you can actually hear some of the interaction between us as we're going through the different alternatives.
So you can kind of see where the other trail is, where the existing trail is, right here. And so by getting our bank hole channel where the blue is, it allows us to get kind of some recaptured flood terrace area in here. Right, the existing trail is here. And so it's that orange line, hopefully you can see it.
Yeah.
And so the new trail is that red line there. And then what we're going to do is overlay our ideal trail alignment, which is the red outline. And I backfilled it in white so you can see it a little better. And this concept would actually allow us to increase that overbank area where the road is. So we would get significantly more flood conveyance.
In this last clip, this was a drawing that we did with the ownership team and with our collaborating consultants. And we were all looking at the same screen and literally live drawing some of these elements to understand how we could integrate a trailhead and a parking area into an open space recreation area. And at the end, you'll just see some finalization there for rendering this thing to make it just a little more colorful and understandable.
Shifting to a virtual work environment has also taken the advantages of hand sketching a step further by allowing us to simultaneously sketch in the same digital space. This real-time collaboration instantly generates new ideas and allows us to feed off of one another's creative instincts. While we've taken advantage of the tools currently available, we look forward to future applications that will combine a full suite of drawing tools with a live virtual space analogous to a giant roll of trace paper. The following video examples illustrate the benefits of live sketching and also demonstrate the potential for these tools to evolve and improve.
All right.
Okay, so where do we want to look?
All right. So I'll just give you kind of the quick and dirty of what I was thinking.
And if you wanted to, you could get another
Terrace down there.
Another treatment cell
Yeah.
wetland feature.
This part would come through and you would have essentially a level spreader here.
There's some detail in here. I could take that. Do you want to do anything over here with this rundown?
Yeah, I'd like to do something in that rundown area, and then we can kind of see how that all plays in.
So we find that with this iterative drawing process and the ability to do this online with our collaborating partners, whether they're internal or external, it really follows the level of design. So our drawings can continue to develop with the technical accuracy of the design itself. For instance, This drawing here would be down the line, but is further developed so that you can understand how Westerly Creek will be reconfigured around the Stanley Marketplace area.
And now with that, we're going to shift over to a live question and answer session. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
All right, well, I'm going to stop recording then.
Okay. Just going to keep drawing till Monday.
The recording is stopping.
Okay.